On today's show, we talk with Father Bills and MainSpring, visit Rye Tavern, hear original poetry, and talk about upcoming things to do in our area. We're glad you're here. Let's get started. A lack of affordable housing has impacted families, seniors, and young people just starting their adult lives, and housing insecurity is a problem that needs multiple solutions. Father Bills and MainSpring are reimagining their resource model to help meet this growing need because nobody should be homeless.
We started in the early 80s. Different interfaith leaders in the greater Quincy and Brockton community, business leaders, people started to see people not just coming to their doorsteps and asking for food or maybe a blanket or utility help, but saying, I have no place to sleep tonight. And so our coalitions were created to really provide temporary shelter for families and individuals. In 2007, Father Bills and MainSpring were two separate organizations merged, and we decided that, we continually saw more and more families, more and more individuals across Southern Mass struggle with homelessness, and together we could do better and serve our fellow brothers and sisters. And we provide shelter for over 160 families a night, over 300 individuals a night, both in Quincy, Brockton, and the Plymouth community. And we also have over 700 units of supportive housing, permanent housing for families and individuals that had really struggled with homelessness for long periods of time.
We have 90 units of supportive housing in the Plymouth community. So that's 90 separate individuals that we support down here. Most of our participants in our program have their own apartment and have a case manager who works with them and the landlord to make sure they stay stably housed. And our participants, 93% of our participants are stably housed 3 years or more. So it's clearly it works. Permanent supportive housing works.
It's the morally right thing to do is to give somebody a home. But we also know that for people, it's good business sense. It's good for the community. One of our fastest growing populations is our elders. We're seeing so many people on fixed incomes that can't afford the rising rents, and we're not building enough housing for people with fixed incomes. We've lost a lot of rest homes and nursing homes where people can't afford to get in them. And so places like Father Bills and MainSpring are seeing more people like that.
I've been working this for Father Bills for 19 years, and I've seen just the rents just skyrocket. That, frankly, I couldn't live in this community on my salary if I wasn't, dual income. You just can't.
Massachusetts is one of the most expensive housing markets in the country. So one of the things we're doing is we're reimagining and changing our delivery model of our emergency shelter to not just be a bed and a meal and be open at night, but really it's about outcomes. So we're converting them to housing resource centers. These housing resource centers are not just a shelter, but they'll still have an emergency shelter component. We want to go and we want to start preventing people from ever having to stay in an emergency shelter, divert people when we can. Sometimes people just need a little bit of help to never have to walk into a shelter. And then if they do come in and they need that shelter, we want to rapidly rehouse them as quick as possible. We have so many people that are working that come in and maybe need first, last, and security, but can pay the rent that they found in an apartment. But they need thousands of dollars, $2,000 or $3,000 to put down, and they don't have it. We don't want them to have to sit in the shelter for 3 or 4 or 5 months and budget that in. We're gonna say, let's just help with that upfront cost. Let's solve the homelessness immediately, get you into that apartment, so we'll help you with those flexible resources. So our whole model is to engage upstream, to invest, and it's more cost savings. It's much more cost effective to prevent homelessness than it is to manage homelessness. And so we've got to be committed to preventing it. If people do become homeless, rapidly rehousing them. But at the same time, we do have that core group that we still got to be committed to developing more supportive housing. thankfully, we've converted our model in Quincy. We've just built a brand new facility that's open 24/7. That's another thing. And the Resource Center isn't just for a shelter. We want licensed healthcare product in there. So we got the healthcare provider in there. We've got the behavioral health agencies in there. We want to have the community agencies that our guests need to utilize, be on site and connect with them and help them move out of the situation that they're in. We'd love to bring that housing resource model to the Plymouth community next. And the misconception is people aren't looking for a handout, and they don't need a lot of help. They need a little bit of help. And so Father Bill's in MainSpring is that safety net, right? We're that broker. We're not gonna judge you. You're gonna come in, that's our faith roots. We're gonna help you, and we're gonna see you move on and flourish. And we see that, people say, well, John, how have you done this and been a part of this, tough work now for over 25 years? And I'm like, because every day I see we're changing lives one life at a time.
3, 2, 1. What? This is what? Who?
This is yours.
Oh my God. What? This is huge. Lisa. Holy shit. What? Y'all go to bed?
Yeah.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Hang no shoes on the bed, Joey.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I really, really love it.
I find hope every day. From the woman who was a Plymouth person, but she had to go to the Brockton shelter because she couldn't, her addictions were, really had taken hold of her life. We were able to house her back in her community in Plymouth, and she's now, able to got her license back. She bought a little car. She's able to, have part-time, employment, and she's able to make ends meet and have a community and reconnect with her family. Those stories really kind of keep me going with hope. It's also knowing that our mission is supported by the community and by our community members, whether it's the Plymouth Police Department, to the Center for Active Living, to the Plymouth Recovery Center. They know that what we're doing is trying to help people, and that we're just trying to, help those of us in our community who don't have the advantages that maybe some of us have had.
We have a great moment in time because we just passed the biggest housing bond bill the state's ever had. And in that, we've actually gotten some language that says we got to develop part of that $4 billion of investment over the next several years. We've got to also invest in supportive housing. So I hope that that we take this moment and we look at the capital that's coming, and we be very much where all the stakeholders in the community realize we've got this opportunity to invest in creating housing for our most vulnerable people that will be more cost effective to our communities, and it's the right thing to do for our people in our community. So in the next 5 to 10 years, I hope we take this opportunity and run with it and see how we can leverage the other resources that are needed to do the wraparound services to keep people housed. In our housing of our 700 plus units that are really geared for, our housing that we develop is really for that person that needs a lot of supports. The people that come to us that are working, we do the shelter just like our founders thought. It'd be like, you come in for a little while and you move on. The majority of families and individuals that come to us, that's what they need. They just need a little bit of help, and they come and they go. But you do have that 35% of the people maybe that we see that need more of a supportive housing environment. That's the group we've got to target, and we need the political will, and I hope people realize that.
Learn more about Father Bill's and MainSpring at helpfbms.org. Local history can be very interesting, especially when you're talking about the history of cranberry growing. Join Kingston Public Library archivist librarian Nick Katulis at the Kingston Council on Aging on November 13th at 1 p.m. for a lecture on this Native American fruit. Nick will provide an historical overview of cranberry growing on the South Shore, nuanced with actual archival materials and items related to Kingston and Duxbury cranberry growers. Registration is required for this crantastic event. Visit the Kingston COA's website to register. Trans Day of Remembrance is dedicated to honoring the memory of trans individuals who lost their lives at the hands of anti-transgender violence. From 7 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 19th, Plymouth Pride is holding space in the Plymouth Public Library Phalo Room to honor the lives of those we've lost this past year. All are welcome to attend this remembrance vigil. We went on the local scene to the farmers market at Rye Tavern in Plymouth.
During COVID, people needed a way to get local, fresh food and stuff like that, you know, parking their cars and basically just coming in and swooping something really quick, getting what they needed and going. But it was such a hit that they did it again the next year, and it was a little more relaxed. People would stay longer. And then it moved on to the lawn, as it is now, and it's just gained traction. This is the 4th summer, and we're looking forward to next summer too.
We closed on Mondays, and we brought the farmers market in, and with all of the traffic, lunch kind of seemed like a no-brainer. And why don't we open the bar? Let's see what happens. And it just took off. People were thrilled. And now it's, I think, a weekly event for a lot of us.
You can quite literally, you know, get a cocktail or a mocktail and stroll around with your shoes off on the lawn, sipping it as you stroll through, you know, which is really nice.
It's hard to know where to begin. I mean, I love look at the setting is beautiful. The grass, the trees, this restaurant is spectacular, the flowers. You know, it's just a nice ambiance. It's just a nice place to be. Plus, you get to know the vendors, and they get to know you, and it's kind of a friendly place to shop.
It sustains local community vendors, local farmers, and it's very important, I believe, and much better than the grocery store. And I love it. And I'm a great advocate of farmers markets. I go as soon as they start, and I go right up to the end. And I beg them to continue all year if they could.
Farmers markets provide local food. The community knows where it's produced and how it's produced, and get a relationship with the farmers or beekeepers or who's ever selling the product.
Farmers markets are important to the community because it's where you can go to actually buy real food. Farmers markets are a place where you can go and be guaranteed to have food that will nourish your body instead of hurting your body.
I think it's sad to see agriculture going the way that it's going in our country, so I think these things are very, very important for people to know and to learn and to be part of. It's just, again, part of community and being part of something bigger.
Good for the community because you can, you know, get your word out that way. We have a lot of community partners that we work with, Tandem Vet Care being one of them. They're here for the first day, so it's a mobile vet. That's like an amazing thing for this place because we are a dog-friendly restaurant. It's a dog-friendly market. People love pets in the Pine Hills, so that's like perfect for that. Black Feather Horse Rescue is another community partner that we have almost every week. Cape Cod 5, they're right here in the Pine Hills. They've sponsored music and story time for the entire summer, which is an amazing thing. And we set up a tent for them, and they come every week, get their word out, and you know, a lot of good friendships are made this way. Some of my best friends, I feel like, have been made through the farmers market, so yeah.
I love this farmers market, and we're just a family here, and I love the vibe, and these people have become my friends. I love that we're just outside on the grass with this beautiful restaurant.
I love this farmers market because we work here, and we also come here. My granddaughter gets her tattoo every single week, and my grandson used to come too, and then we buy vegetables, we have lunch, and we get stuff from the bakery every single week.
I like this farmers market because over the years I've gotten to know the clientele, the people that live here, and they're really great people, and they do truly appreciate what we do and what we bring into their community, and they let us know, and it makes us feel great.
I hope that it creates core memories for the kids that get to come, for the families. You know, you get to see Ross, who's the new farmer, working in the garden. I think it's just a really cool place, and I think that everyone leaves pretty happy from here.
If you're feeling the heat of home heating costs, there is help available. The Federal Fuel Assistance Program provides aid to low-income households. Eligibility is determined by the gross income of all family members, and aid is available whether you own your home, rent, or even if your heating bills are included in your rent. Applications for this program opened November 1st. To get started, visit the South Shore Community Action website and click the Apply Online button. You can also complete an application by phone by calling the Home Energy Assistance Line at 508-746-6707. Additionally, for Duxbury residents, you may be eligible for a one-time financial assistance through the Duxbury Interfaith Council, who can be reached at 781-934-8388. Crafting is fun, but crafting for a cause? Even better. On Saturday, November 16th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., the Pembroke Council on Aging is holding a craft event at the Community Center in Pembroke to benefit A Good Pause, a home for weary wanderers, a nonprofit dedicated to providing a safe and loving environment for dogs in need. A fun way to spend the day and make life better for some of our furry friends. Do you have questions? Please direct them to treasureofourhearts2@gmail.com. On Thursday, November 14th, the Blake Planetarium invites you to enjoy an evening of mindfulness and meditation, planetarium style. The evening's opening program, Bella Gaia, will explore the relationship between human civilization and our ecosystem, and the connections between art and science. Satellite imagery of Earth with time-lapse nature photography combines with musical accompaniment to create an extraordinary audio-visual experience. Next, you'll revel in stunning sunsets from the Grand Canyon to the North Pole, culminating in a night sky filled with stars and glimpses of the northern lights in the presentation, Sunset Meditation. The show is from 7 to 8 p.m. and is ideal for stargazers age 10 and up. Tickets are available to be purchased online only through Eventbrite. Search Blake Planetarium to find your ticket to the stars. Next up is a message from the Pembroke Public Library.
Hi there, my name is Peter Santori and I'm the Reference and Adult Services Librarian at the Pembroke Public Library. Have you ever finished a great book and wanted to find more just like it, or wanted to help your child find the right book to read? If you have, then you'll want to hear about Novelist Plus, one of our digital learning resources. Novelist is a book search database that's free to access with your library card and offers a wide range of tools to help you find your next read, whether you already have an idea of what you're searching for or are starting from scratch. You can find Novelist under the Research and Learning section of our website, and after logging in with your library card, you'll be taken right to the front page. You have two options to choose from, Novelist Plus and Novelist Plus K through 8. The former covers books for all possible ages, from children to adults, while the latter covers teens and younger. One of Novelist's standout features are the read-alikes. Whenever you select a book, you can look to the right of the screen to see other books that users like you have found to be similar to the one you're looking at. If you hover your mouse over them, Novelist will give you the book's description and the reasons users consider it a fitting read-alike. Each book also includes a list of subject tags that apply to it, such as the book's genre, the type of storyline it has, and the overarching mood. You can select from among these to find books that fill a similar niche by combining specific tags. You can also search by a general description of what you might want, and the search engine will give you the closest results it can find. There's also advanced search, which lets you refine what you're looking for even further by searching only in specific categories, such as author or themes, or limiting your search by only looking in, say, audiobooks, or for books with less than 200 pages. Finally, if you're really not sure what you might be looking for, you can always browse a number of curated lists, including award winners, genres, and even novelist contributor recommendations. With so many different books to choose from, Novelist is the perfect thing to help you decide what to read next. And once you have, the library is the perfect place to find that book. Visit us in person or online to learn more. We're always happy to have you.
Data says that at least once a week, approximately 65% of Americans eat fast food. America is a fast food nation, and Duxbury Senior Center welcomes back Bonnie Miller, Professor of American Food History and Culture at UMass Boston, to talk about that. On Monday, November 18th at 2 p.m., join Professor Miller at the center to discuss the history and impact this $387 billion industry has had on American culture. Drive through the Duxbury Senior Center website to register for a discussion that will absolutely give you food for thought. Next up is Plymouth Poet Laureate Miriam O'Neill with a reading of her original work.
It is my good fortune and my happiness to be able to talk about the America's Hometown Laureate for just a brief moment, and then I will introduce our new Poet Laureate. But I don't know how many of you folks were around in 2020 when the library hosted our finalist reading for the first Plymouth Poet Laureate, of which Miriam was a part of that event. We had over 100 people in this room that night. It was near the end of February, and shortly thereafter, we had to close our doors to the public for COVID. So things moved along as far as the Poet Laureate was appointed. It was Stephen Delbos, and he went off on his own while we all went off on our ways and hid in our corners. And then a couple years go by, and I came, as I said, I was retired, and I ran into Stephen Cole, who is the works for the Plymouth Foundation, Development Foundation. And he's the one who brought the idea to us to create a Plymouth Poet Laureate. He's quite a wise man and has a great sense of humor. So we got connected and said, so what's going to happen next? We're into like the second year of the term, we've got to do something. So we pulled together, we ended up making it a nonprofit organization with, we're up to 7 directors are on the committee, on the board. And we began our work to do some more poetry events and to bring forth the next Poet Laureate. And Stephen Delbos, he said, I never knew whether there would be a second one. And so it meant more to him to hand over the torch to our new Poet Laureate, Miriam O'Neill, who's just been wonderful. So please come up.
Wow. Now I really have to perform. It has been wonderful to inherit from Stephen Delbos this position, and I'm so happy to be part of the group that's bringing poetry to the greater Plymouth area. Many of you know about Poetry, the Art of Words, which is my baby now. And so happy to expand it and bring in more people and make the community larger. So I came into the list, I received the list from Jennifer, and I said, I want some women. Could I have some women Irish poets in the list? Given that we had a great tradition of these poets included. So I'd like to read 2 poems for you from contemporary Irish poets, women poets. Paula Meehan just won yet another prize. She's published by Daedalus Books in Ireland, and she's from the north of Dublin. She's like the Dublin of Dublin. If you've ever seen the movie The Commitments, you know what I'm talking about when they say, and the north of Dublin. So, and I apologize if I seem to slip. It's my grandmother in me. If I slip into a little bit of the tongue, it's my grandmother. But what I love about Paula in particular is that she also incorporates poets from around the world into her poetry, and this one is near and dear to my heart because it takes the old schoolmaster and the new poetry, and you find out what happens when those 2 things meet. It's called Swallows and Willows. When he caught me at the corner with a curly-headed, green-eyed boy, he brought me into detention. Write out, let me see, a verse of a poem Any verse of your choice, but longer than a quatrain, 5 lines at least, 100 times. From The Jailer, underlined 3 times, by Sylvia Plath. I imagine him impotent as distant thunder, in whose shadow I have eaten my ghost ration. I wish him dead and away. That, it seems, is the impossibility. I was neat at first, maybe neat to the 10th time, then a looping downward scrawl. Out the window, swallows and willows and sun on the river. I meant a verse from a set text. I sat at the edge of his class, right into summer exams, sulky and lonely and cruel. And then we have Evan Boland. And something I've learned recently about her and her life is that she spent a lot of time in the US teaching at various colleges, and but she also spent a lot of her life away from home once her mom died. But what I found out about her mom was that she, when the father was an ambassador and he was in New York, they were living in New York, Mom started an organization to raise up modern Irish art, and raised $5 million back in the 50s to bring modern Irish art to the US. It's pretty amazing for the 50s. The emigrant Irish. Like oil lamps, we put them out the back of our houses, of our minds. We had lights better than, newer than, and then a time came, this time, and now we need them. Their dread makeshift example. They would have thrived on our necessities. What they survived, we could not even live. By their lights, now it is time to imagine how they stood there, what they stood with, that their possessions may become our power. Cardboard, iron, their hardships parceled in them, patience, fortitude, long suffering in the bruise-colored dusk of the new world, and all the old songs, and nothing to lose. Thank you.
Here's Tiff Phillips with more of what's happening in our community.
Good babysitters are always in high demand. The Pembroke Rec Department is offering a one-day, 3-hour babysitting course to help young sitters improve their babysitting skills and learn the do's and don'ts of being home alone. This class will provide some hands-on practice caring for infants, spoiler alert, diapering, and provide information on child development, playing with young children, basic first aid, fire and safety prevention, and overall the general responsibilities of babysitting. There are 2 date choices available to take this class, Friday, November 29th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Friday, December 27th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Both are taking place at the Pembroke Community Center. The cost is $80, and you can sign up through the Pembroke Park and Rec website. Seniors, get ready to gobble gobble and enjoy a free and delicious Thanksgiving dinner with friends at the Plymouth Center for Active Living on Wednesday, November 20th. The Cal Cafe staff will be serving a fantastic traditional holiday feast as thanks to the seniors in the community. Space is limited, registration is required with the tickets determined by lottery. Be sure to call Cal by November 6th to be entered into the attendance raffle, and please specify if you have a +1. Attendees will be notified by November 8th. Doors open at 11:15 and the meal will be served at 11:30 a.m.
And that, my friends, wraps this episode of What's Good and Good to Know in our area. Thank you for watching.
And we thank our patrons, Tiny & Sons, Quintal Brothers, and Squinny's Pizza for supporting our mission of community and action through media.
We'll see you on the local scene. For more of what's good and good to know on the South Shore of Massachusetts, hit the subscribe button. And thank you for watching.